Today in the news, another Ampere cooler pops up, Apple's ARM chips are pretty good, and next-gen games be expensive. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. Let's get started with NVIDIA. Well, actually, it's more of an ASUS topic. After the RTX 3080 cooler leaked from a factory about 2 weeks ago, we now have one for the ROG Strix 3080 Ti from ASUS. This information comes from videocards.com, which is confident that this is real. Their sources got it from an ASUS internal design proofing. In any case, I'm really impressed. You guys remember the original cooler, right? Well, it seems like ASUS might be borrowing some of the design with the black lines on the shroud resembling the heatsink on the leaked cooler. The heatsink for the ASUS card though is still using the good old-fashioned fin stack design with what looks like 6 horizontal heat pipes or 3 with the usual U-bend. In the older ROG Strix 2080 Ti, the card actually has 5 horizontal runs, but it's 3 pipes with 2 of them doing the bend, and as usual, a little RGB on top. Moving on, we got ARM/Apple Silicon in the news. The dev kit currently being shipped for their ARM transition has been benchmarked on Geekbench 5, and wow, it's actually pretty impressive. To recap, Apple is shipping the dev kits with an A12Z chip inside. This chip is made using TSMC's 7nm process and is also found inside the 2020 iPad Pro models. It features 8 cores in big dot little formation, so 8 big cores and 4 little, and it has a Bionic GPU with 8 cores. Clock speeds can vary, but the GPU in this case in the dev kit was running at 1 GHz. Now that benchmark was found by Rogame on Twitter, and he shared the OpenCL score, and that chip is beating a laptop equipped with an AMD 4500U. That AMD chip has 6 CUs, but it's clocked at 1.5 GHz. The Apple chip beat it by about 2 to 3%, which is a little bit, but it's pretty impressive for an ARM processor. Now, I know it doesn't really matter for us in the Windows PC space, but it's worth looking at what is happening on the other side of the fence. Maybe we'll start seeing more ARM-equipped Windows PCs in the future. That's something I personally would really like. Then we have Microsoft with the tweaks they are applying to Windows 10. The current insider preview of Windows 10 features a sleeker design. There are aesthetic changes like a theme-aware tile system, which basically means it color matches the background of the tiles with the color of your theme. Another thing is the theme being influenced by your desktop background. But in bigger changes, they're going to give you the option to also see individual tabs from the Edge browser when you Alt-Tab. I kind of like the idea, but if you looked at the amount of tabs I have when I browse, it would just be a mess of tiny icons. Moving on, we got some RGB. Now, if you watched yesterday's live stream, you might have heard me talk about the light towers that Corsair released. Personally, I didn't see the use for something like that, especially for $140 US, but HyperX might have made the case for Corsair by releasing some clothing. The company partnered up with Champion Athletics and announced a RGB line of clothing. Now, it's not actually RGB lit, but the reflective materials used on the pieces is. The hoodie looks kind of nice, but if I had to choose, I'd go for the classic Champion RGB slides. Now, if you wanted to buy some, the shirt is $35 USD, hoodie is $80 USD, and the slides are $85. I can't even imagine how expensive that would be in Canadian. And now we got the free game check. Right now on the Epic Game Store, you can get 1 game for free this week and 3 others starting on July 9th. Right now, it's Hue, which is a really good game. I remember Game Maker's Toolkit, or GMTK on YouTube, talking about its mechanics in one of his videos. It's interesting for sure, and I would highly recommend you check out his YouTube channel too. Amazing content. As for next week, you can get the Killing Floor 2, Lifeless Planet, and the Escapist 2. Seriously though, if you like puzzle adventure games, get Hue. It's free. Then we have some next-gen console news. 2K's NBA 2K21 game is opened for pre-order on both the current and next-gen consoles, and the prices went up. The current generation game can be had for $59 US or 79 Canadian, which is the standard right now in AAA games, and the next-gen versions increased their price to $69 US or $89 Canadian. This is likely the jump in price we'll see for AAA titles on the next-gen consoles. Personally, I'm glad I shifted to buying my games on PC since prices are most of the time a little lower or drastically drop in the months that follow thanks to sales. The new price hike might also help the console manufacturers sell the consoles at a more reasonable price, since it's likely they'll be doing so at a loss. I mean, prices have been stagnant for a good amount of years, so it could just be inflation too. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And that is pretty much it for the catch-up, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Drop a like if you liked it, a comment if you want to talk about today's story. The set looks a little bit different. I know that the LED turned off, but I actually expanded the studio tour coming in soon. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to go ahead and charge that light that's hanging from my ceiling.